What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pizza and Pixels. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, aka HexxedPhenom.
And I'm JP.
And this is the show where JP and I order a pizza and we talk about video games until that pizza shows up. And you can get this show every other Saturday at noon Eastern on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom as a video version, or you can get an audio version on podcast services around the globe, places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, really any podcast service of your choosing.
I love hearing that.
And before we get into the show, I've been meaning to make this announcement for the past like 2 or 3 podcasts we recorded, but I kept forgetting. There is now Pizza and Pixels and Retro Redux merch available in the link in the description down below. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on audio services, the link is there.
Wherever you're at.
And we're also working on HPJP merch at the moment. But if you guys would like to support the show, please go down there, consider, buying a t-shirt or whatever. But with that being said, now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the show. We're going to be talking about the state of Call of Duty Zombies in our opinion, and the things they can do to improve, and just kind of where the whole mode sits at the moment.
Man, that's one hell of a topic. It really is. And I couldn't imagine doing it while ordering pizza, but it is going to happen. And We're going to have a state of Call of Duty Zombies address with pizza right here, right now.
Exactly.
So what kind of pizza we collabing, or are we just getting 2 separate pizzas?
We could do 2 separate ones if you want.
Also, you guys will definitely get to see the pizzas, because goddamn.
Yeah, we forgot the past 2 episodes.
The past 2 episodes of the show we have not had the pizza, which is very sad, but you still get the podcast, right? So there's always a chance to look at that pizza, but goddamn, the pizza is fucking worth it for sure.
Exactly.
So, I guess to start out this conversation about Call of Duty Zombies and the state of said zombies, I think we should talk about Ancient Evil. Because we have not, it's kind of actually scary, because the first DLC for Black Ops 4, data miners actually found it way before Treyarch was like, oh, this map's coming out tomorrow. And I think they did it at the last minute, right? They were like, oh, this map's available now.
Yeah, I think they didn't available now, not even available like...
They didn't even hype it the fuck up.
At the most, it was like available tomorrow.
Yeah, like literally all of the hype was from data miners and people that somehow got it early. I don't know how, but it happened in Australia. And yeah, it was very, very strange. So I'm hoping we get gameplay of this map, because it's cool thinking about that it's in Greece and... it's the Chaos Crew. It's the last map for the Chaos Crew, which is one of my... I guess my negatives about zombies at the moment. Yeah, that's one of the other things we'll get into, but we'll get into it for sure.
I really hope. I mean, I know people were pissed that we didn't get this map at the start of the event.
We really should have, though.
We should have, but at the same time, I thought they were going to at least take the time to hype the map up and show it off, but we still haven't seen anything outside of the poster that they used in the promotional art.
And they even had Jason Blundell actually talking complete sentences. No riddles, no mimes, no rhymes, no anything.
That was something else completely on its own.
That was something insane. That was like historical in itself. Man, what am I going to get on this pizza?
But, I don't know. Like, first of all, I mean, the one cool part, or at least, well, not the one cool part, but one of the cool parts that I would have liked to see from a Greece map is the Colosseum. But now I feel like if they do that, they're treading too close to the grounds they've already covered with 9. Considering that map literally just takes place in a Colosseum.
The Colosseum of Rome. Well, the interesting part that I picked out was when you're pack-punching a gun, you could see Greece. You could see... I forget the exact city. I would butcher it, so I'm not going to say it. It starts with a D. You could see that city because of a landmark monument in that city. And I'm assuming that monument is going to play a heavy role. Maybe that might even be the next pack-punch location. Who knows? But I'm assuming, wow. Okay, so you got bacon, I got bacon, I love bacon, and he loves bacon. Be cool if you guys like bacon, but if not, I fully understand.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. So, I am going to get Philly steak with with bacon and your average pizza, and you are going with a chicken Alfredo pizza, which I am
With
very
bacon.
proud. Which I am very proud of you for, because that's my girlfriend and I's personal pizza. We always get chicken Alfredo pizza, so goddamn, I'm proud
really
of that.
good. It's really good.
So with that being said, here is your phone, sir. So there's not much known about this map. I'm assuming it's gonna flow a lot like the main part of 9. Gonna get a lot of probably Greek. Obviously, I hope to God they go with the Greek gods and all that good stuff. But the thing that goes off the positive is the negative is this is the last Chaos map we're getting for right now. And I say for right now because there is apparently going to be Season 2 of the DLC, but I don't think we're going to get a Chaos map besides the characters in the remastered maps. How do you feel about that one, sir? It's going to be cool. It's just, I don't know why they're like ditching their new story for the old story. And I love the old characters, and I always have and always will. But comes a time where it doesn't work. It's just, you're kind of ruining the story as you keep it going. And yeah, it's a very strange scenario, honestly.
I mean, that's the thing with
There's a lot of that going on anymore, though. So it's not only Call of Duty. Just want to point that out. I'm not hating on Jason Blundell. I'm not hating on the Zombies dev team. It's just there's a lot of rehashing going on in this generation. So yeah, but I gotta admit they have one hell of a story with the Chaos story. They really do. It's just I don't think many people want to look past the original crew to understand.
I mean, people definitely don't want to give the Chaos crew their shot.
I gotta admit, though, even just playing a game, though, you definitely laugh. Like, you're into the story, but you don't know the story. And that's the crazy part. So they really nailed it.
It's a nice feeling with Call of Duty Zombies to not know what's going on in the story. Yeah. And I mean, granted, most people outside of the hardcore fan base usually probably don't know what's going on in Zombies.
But let me tell you, there's so much story they can make a movie or a trilogy of movies off it.
It is refreshing to be learning new, like, lore details about a world that's completely new, completely separate, at least as we believe right now, completely separate from everything that we've been building towards for the past, 10 years, I think it is.
But, yeah, I was going to say, 2009 was when the content, so 10 years now.
And, I mean, it's just...
Speaking of which, I see it's March 8th. It can't be too far off of this, because 10 years ago, World at War DLC 1, which had Verrückt and the start of the zombie storyline, actually came out. So I want to see something here.
The release date?
March 19th, 2009. I think I need to make a post about that because Guitar Metallica also came out this month. Totally unrelated, so we're gonna we'll ditch that for another conversation. But March 19th, 2009 was the first DLC for Call of Duty World at War, and I need to talk about that.
We're 11 days away from it, but...
I gotta find the artwork for it. And ironically... Do you really think they'll release this DLC on the anniversary of that DLC?
I doubt it.
Actually, wait, I don't even know what March 19th is this year.
It's probably like a Wednesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Honestly, if they don't do it on March 19th, it'd be kind of dumb.
Jason Blundell.
Although at the same time, I think... I don't know.
Holy fuck. All I see is groin pain. Wow. Oh my god. Wow. Jesus. Wow. My god. That is some nostalgia right there.
Very true.
Wow.
But I don't know. With that being said, I don't want to dwell too much on it. I think it's dumb that they're at least planning to end the storyline for the rest of the DLC maps, at least. They've had 4 maps, sure, but we barely even have a foundation for their story. Like, all we really know is Scarlett's looking for her dad, and that's kind of about it. In terms of major plot points, at least.
There's a lot more story to it, but obviously a majority of the people don't give a fuck, and I can fully understand at this point because there's been so many story elements that I can understand why people fell off. But
Yeah.
there's a lot more to the story, but the main part of it is that Scarlet is looking for her father. And spoiler alert, if you haven't played Dead of Night, Scarlet actually time twists and she goes to where they're at and she kills the butler that has basically been possessed to do whatever they want him to do. So her father is now in a remote location. So I'm assuming we're going to get some kind of closure in this map.
I would hope so.
Especially because there is no more Chaos maps. And yeah. I really like where they're going with this story. And I just feel like they're cutting it short way too early in the game because obviously there's going to be season 2 of content. I don't know if they're going to make full maps. But
Yeah.
we could at least assume that the Chaos story is probably going to be in the old maps in some kind of way. And who knows, we might even find some insane... Wow, that's a really good photo.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to save that. That'll be my anniversary post.
Yeah, but I don't know. At the same time, like, I could see, since they have, like, the time-bending element thing going on, if they do end up doing some more remastered maps, that maybe the Chaos crew is a part of them. And that's how they get around that and help expand that storyline a little bit more.
That's what I'm thinking they're probably going to do.
But is it also that we're just so used to the fact that we've been building towards this 10, now 11-year storyline that we just don't want to accept the fact that there could be a storyline that's wrapped up in 4 or 5 maps? You know what I mean?
It's very true. It's just such a...
Because it's
such a cool cast of characters that, you know, I'm really invested in. If you guys take the time to go through every character, it really adds up. But even from what they're at right now, it's like damn, they're doing pretty good. I just think that at this point, it's obvious that majority of people care about the old storyline, the old characters. They're classics. I love them. I really, really do. It's just I don't know. How much can they do with the old cast? That's the problem. I mean, if that was the case, why haven't bothered with the Transit Crew? Why haven't bothered with the Chaos story? Just keep making the Ether story, but now there's much more of a story to be told, so they have to do something.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, we know we're getting the Transit characters back.
Yeah.
Newsflash, it's going to happen. But...
I mean, that's just spelled out right
that's just written right on the wall as soon as
right
you start.
Blood of the Dead.
Blood of the Dead,
Yeah.
and, you know, in the comic, if you read it. And I'm assuming they're going to somehow mix the Transit and Chaos story together, and then the next game will be Transit and Chaos. I mean, it comes to the point where maybe in doing this, they're going to end the Ether storyline. And
I mean, there's only so much more you can do with that crew. I mean,
the remasters are great.
I mean, because of the whole, you know, teleporter thing that they've done, they could
really do
realistically make infinite maps with them if they really wanted to. But
it's just I think the problem is how much can it take till the point where it becomes mediocre. That's the problem. I mean, sure, I would love to see all of them go around the world, go to Egypt, go to the Amazon, go to Canada, like all remote locations, even Eastern State Penitentiary. But it's just wouldn't make sense. It'd be a cool map, and I'd love to hear them come back, but would it make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, we built so much, like he was saying, there's so much story that you kind of can't just randomly bomb a map and be like, well, here they are in the Amazon. It's like, why the hell are we here?
Yeah.
So that's where I think they might literally take the Transit characters and the Chaos characters and make them the 2 new teams. I feel like that'd be the right thing to do at this point if they're going to bring the Transit crew back.
Yeah, because I feel like Zombies doesn't get enough maps or content to be able to justify trying to make stories out of 3 separate groups of characters.
Yeah, it has to be 2. If anything, 1.
Even still, I think
good.
2 is too much. But if they can balance it correctly, then...
Plus, at this point in the game, I think it's pretty safe to assume that Zombies is one of the main reasons people buy Call of Duty at all anymore. I mean, it used to be multiplayer. I really don't think it is, besides people just want to play the next thing. But it got to the point where Black Ops 3 had the Zombies pre-order. the Juggernaut fridge.
Yep.
And Zombies outsold any of the past content and broke records across the globe, and PlayStation, Microsoft, downloads.
Zombies Chronicles I don't know, I think it still might be. But at the time, it was the best-selling piece of DLC content on the PlayStation Store in history.
And I think it is still to this day. And I know a lot of people, for the most part, maybe multiplayer people, they're like, why does Zombies exist? It's like, well, without it, Call of Duty would be dead. I mean, I think it's safe to assume Call of Duty would have died probably by
maybe not completely dead, but
it would be on life support entirely, you know?
If it wasn't for zombies starting a world at war, I don't think Call of Duty would really be around today.
Especially with the celebrity cast they've had and the connections they've had. I mean, hell, even M Shadows, he's not good at zombies, but he hypes zombies up pretty much, and I'm like, that's cool. And when I met them, we actually talked about it.
Avenged Sevenfold, just in terms of like making music for zombies,
it is a big thing. I mean, you'd have bands that would put out singles like them, and it would become a recognized single, and people would dip into the map. So, honestly, Zombies has been a launch pad for Call of Duty. So, that's why I think they really need to get it straight, get the storyline right, and, pound out some great maps. I'm sure they will. Treyarch's totally capable of that. I just hope Activision isn't making them, spin their wheels.
We all know Activision is making them do some pretty shitty stuff, and we're going to get into that in a little bit here.
Yeah.
But kind of moving away from focusing on
overall
the story point. Let's talk quickly about what other maps do you think we're going to see remastered? Because there's been rumors swirling about Nuketown for a while. I think we're definitely going to see that. But beyond that, what do you think we're going to see? Do you think we'll see Zombies Chronicles 2.0? Do you think we'll see them try to port Chronicles 1 into Black Ops 4? What do you think we're going to see?
I honestly think Season 2, which I'm sure there will be, I feel like Season 2 is going to be Zombie Chronicles, but at the same time, you're going to pay one set price, and you're going to get the other side of it, which were the maps not remastered from Zombie Chronicles, which are the transit maps, essentially. So,
basically, the transit maps.
The transit maps are the only
Call
maps.
of the Dead.
Yeah, so the transit maps have not been remastered, obviously, because they were going to come back in this game. But now that they are here in Blood of the Dead, they're very alive, frozen, but they're going to come out eventually. I'm sure that's where the last map for Ether will lead into that, I'm sure.
Probably.
Just like the comic. And I feel like from that point on, when we get the transit remasters, I feel like it's going to be different crews. So instead of the transit maps being the transit characters, I feel like the transit maps are going to be Ether and Chaos.
Yeah, probably.
And then in the next game, I feel like honestly, Nuketown Zombies will be the transit crew. I feel like it will.
It kind of makes sense.
It only
because
makes sense.
Marlton was
really.
Already there.
He was already
the bunker,
there,
which took place before transit.
So I think what's going to happen is the transit maps will be Chaos and Ether split. Nuketown will be the transit crew. And then the remastered Zombie Chronicles maps that we already played in Black Ops 3 will be switched between Chaos and Transit. So then they can experience new elements of the story. Maybe they can make new Easter eggs for the maps. But I feel like that's the game plan really for this, because it would be the perfect way to bring something back and not make it look like a copy-paste rehash, and make people actually jump on it more than they normally would. And make it actually worth that. It's worth paying $40 for, because I feel like the price tag is probably going to be $35 to $40 for the season pass.
For a second season of just zombies content.
Maybe if they do $50, they'll throw in some multiplayer crap that they'll probably not work out too well. But I mean, you're the multiplayer guy. Do you think multiplayer has more surprises that could be had, or do you think it's just the same crap over and over again?
I mean, I think really all they're going to continue to do with multiplayer is just the new maps that they're obligated to put out because that's what they sold as part of the Black Ops Pass.
Exactly.
And they'll throw in a couple more specialists, and that'll pretty much be it.
I feel like we'll get one Blackout map Maybe they'll just do something with Blackout. I mean,
I don't think we're ever gonna get a different
yeah,
Blackout map. I think it's just gonna
or just
keep
new
changing.
updates. Yeah, so they'll probably do that. So maybe the season pass will be $50, but $40 of it will be zombies. I mean, I think it's safe to assume zombies will be coming full force in this pack.
I mean, right now for me, like, I've never really bought the DLC packs for the multiplayer maps. I think the only game that I thought almost every multiplayer map that came out in the DLCs was good was actually Black Ops 2.
Yeah, Black Ops 2 hit it hard. Black Ops 2 was the last multiplayer I actually liked. And then I went on hiatus from Call of Duty entirely from that. But, yeah.
But with,
I could see it.
I don't know, the multiplayer maps they have now in Black Ops 4, there's 4 of them that came out for DLC. I don't like any of them. I think they're all too big for no reason. They all feel like they were made for Call of Duty Ghost, which is weird. If you guys haven't played Call of Duty Ghost multiplayer,
it was way too ambitious.
the maps were built almost like there was meant to be way more players on the maps, like as if the game was originally being built to play like 12v12 instead of 6v6.
It was like a game was being built.
All the maps were way too big, and it almost every game of like team deathmatch or something based on kills like that would usually end in the time limit instead of, you know, you hitting the amount of kills
in the
need.
yeah.
And that's exactly how these 4 Black Ops 4 DLC maps are. But we're straying away from zombies, so let's try to stick to that. But in terms of remastered maps, I think we're going to see, I think Nuketown's definitely a shoo-in. I think they'd be dumb not to do a Zombies Chronicles 2.0.
Yeah, they'd be absolutely stupid to not do that. I mean,
and
that's where the money's at.
I heard, I don't know if I maybe misunderstood it, but I'm 97% sure that I remember reading or hearing somewhere that someone, I don't remember if it was Jason Blundell specifically, but somebody said, someone like a developer from Treyarch had told somebody else, like wherever the hell I read this, I don't remember. I'll try to find it if I can. But it was basically saying that at some point during the Black Ops 3 life cycle, like around like DLC 2 or something like that, they started porting all of the maps from Black Ops 3, all the zombies maps, to the Black Ops 4 engine.
Yep.
So with that being said, it probably wouldn't be that hard for them to just port them from Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4. Now, granted, they would have to, you know...
They'd have to work around the bugs that would probably happen, but yeah, they could just...
I mean, I'm sure there'd be some problems, especially because, you know, Black Ops 3 obviously still had the old perk system, so you'd have to remove some of those old perk machines because you can only have 4 now.
They would have to do some work, which...
Yeah, they'd have to do
granted,
work, obviously.
should happen if they're going to make money off it, you know? So, I think... I think they're in a good standing for what they could remaster. Like he was saying, they just got to replace the 4 main perk machines and all that good stuff. But, you know, there's one thing that I hope they do not do on this, and that's add more bosses to the maps. I feel like bosses are the biggest downfall of zombies.
That's one thing that I don't like about where we're at in zombies.
Yeah, there is literally a boss in every map, and while it's cool, it's kind of dumb because
some of them
it's
are
not what it is.
I wouldn't say they're necessarily cool, but some of them are done in a way where it's not overkill.
It breaks up the action.
Like Brutus in Black Ops 2, I think is the perfect example of that.
Yep.
He only shows up other than, you know, when he's triggered to, like if you're, you know, on the Golden Gate Bridge, he'll show up every single round. But normally he'll show up every 3-4 rounds maybe, and it's one Brutus, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not overkill at all. That's the perfect boss, I think.
And once you kill him, he's done. He won't come back for another 3-4 rounds. Now, in Black Ops 4, Brutus is still, like, just Blood of the Dead, for example. Brutus is still there. Past round, like, 30, he shows up. Not only does he show up almost every single round, but when he does show up, there's, like, 4 in a row.
Yeah, and even when he doesn't do that, he spawns, like... Even in the 20s, he spawns at least twice around.
Yeah.
Like, I just have respect for Brutus, so that's why I don't really mind that. But, like, when it comes down to maps like Shadows of Evil, where you had the stupid thing that would come out of nowhere. Yeah, the Margwa or whatever.
I mean, that thing was annoying, but at the very least, I mean... I barely played the map, so it might have changed in, like, higher rounds.
Yeah,
but at least it was only, like... once every couple rounds, at least the way it seemed for the most part.
And then
but like 9 with the gladiators all over the place and the Blight Fathers. Voyage with the stupid, what are they called? The Stokers or whatever, the big flaming shovel dudes.
I just feel like I think they should have just taken the Blight Father out of Black Ops 4. It makes no sense. An alien in the middle of the Roman Coliseum, an alien on the Titanic. Like, it makes no sense. It really doesn't.
I mean, I could even do without the gladiators, to be honest, but at least they're significantly less annoying.
The gladiators should just have their round, and that's it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that I wish the gladiators were stuck on their own round.
So it's just, I feel like they're at a point where, for some reason, they feel inclined to put a boss in every map. I feel like it's Activision being like, you need to do something new, because I don't see this.
I mean, it might not even be Activision. It might be, because the player base is always clamoring for something different.
Yeah, they don't know.
Because the Call of Duty fan base is one of the
crazy.
Just in general, not even zombies, but just the Call of Duty fan base in general is horrible.
Yeah.
At figuring out what they want, because they'll say that they want something new, and then something changes, and then they get mad about it.
Well, that's like Call of Duty in general with Advanced Warfare. That would have never happened if people were like, you need to do something different. Got Advanced Warfare. What is this shit?
Yeah, pretty much.
It was exactly like that.
Or like...
And then they put zombies in their game.
True.
So it's just... I think I could really do without a shit ton of bosses. I saw that they started bringing back, what was the Shrieker in Shangri-La. Now he's... I don't even know. I could tell that they brought it in with the... Catalyst zombies. It's exactly the same thing.
The Catalyst zombies are annoying too, because
the poison zombies.
It's mostly just like, okay, yeah, sure, it's different than just shooting the normal zombies that you see hundreds of thousands of throughout a game. But it's also just like,
it's becoming pretty arcadey and redundant to the point where I don't know if even people that wanted them like it.
Because it's like
too much at once.
The poisonous ones, they like slowly decrease your health if you're within like a certain radius of them.
Yep.
The
catalyst just
whatever the hell the other
your
one's
view
like
entirely. And...
There's like an ice or water one that just makes all the other zombies around him have like quadruple health for no reason, which is annoying as hell. And then he runs away from you and you try to shoot him.
Yeah, and like...
And then the fire ones explode when they either get close to you or when you shoot them. And then they just knock all the zombies over, which is stupid.
Yeah, like I think another boss that worked out iffy is the Panzer Soldat. The Panzer Soldat was cool. I just don't know what else they could do with him. Like, him and Brutus are like the perfect bosses in their own ways.
Yeah.
And
well, the thing was especially for the Panzer,
bosses.
there was effective counters to it. Like the Panzer, you could kill in one shot from any of the upgraded stabs.
Yep.
You could like one burst him with the ray gun Mark II.
Or you just shoot his, obviously where his face is. You just do that.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah,
like your best defense against most of these bosses is just whip out your special weapon and to just smack them over and over again.
Yep. And then you have maps like Zetsubo no Shima had the stupid vegetation monster that was the dumbest concept ever.
The only good thing that came from that map is the mod that turned that monster into Shrek on the PC, and that's the only good part.
That was the only good part about that map. What was the Russian map that had Nikolai, the City of Blood? What was it called?
Gorod Krovy.
Gorod Krovy. That was a really great map.
The Russian Mangler
wasn't too bad, but
he was really just a slow, like...
Yeah, he just kind of appeared.
Yeah.
So he's
slow
iffy.
lurker.
He's like the top. He goes with the top 3. It's just, if they keep adding bosses in these maps, I mean, like Dead of the Night, they had so many they had like Draculas.
Oh yeah,
and
then vampires, werewolves.
Then they had the werewolves, which made sense, but like the Draculas, like
it makes sense, but I just kind of wish the bosses would be like held off to their own round, or like
balanced.
Either, I mean, yeah, but also more or less aligned with like the Easter egg quests, so they won't show up unless you're doing specific Easter egg quests or something like that. But because to me, I think I mean, they have obviously the huge bosses now for the Easter eggs, but I feel like that should be just where the bosses end.
That should be where, the bosses are just getting out of control. The bosses are kind of, it's like Treyarch kind of forgets what made zombies zombies. I mean, they haven't had a boss at all in zombies until
Mob of the Dead.
No, well, technically in Black Ops with
Oh, well, yeah, there was the Pentagon Thief.
But the Pentagon Thief was the first actual boss, because he
Oh, yeah, I
was
also completely skipped over Call of the Dead. My bad.
yeah. And then Call of the Dead came after because George Romero was a pretty good boss, but even then there's still downsides because
Didn't
the reason for it was they didn't want you to camp in that map, so that's why
yeah.
George walked around. But when he fell off the map, it was free for all. Like I had a fun time when he fell off the map.
Was there any way to actually permanently kill him or no?
There was a way where he would just walk off the map,
like
and that'd be it.
I mean, like legitimately, like
no, he always came back.
yeah.
And he wasn't that bad. I liked how you would get like free perks off him and the death machine, and you can get perks off of him. That's what made George Romero cool. And when they remaster the maps, I think they should have George Romero in it as a tribute to him because he essentially made that map. But yeah, I think that would definitely be the oh wow, that was extreme. I think he should definitely be remastered in because when they made Black Ops Zombies on the iPhone, they had the original characters, but George was there.
Yeah.
So I think when they do it, they should do like the transit characters, and George will be there. It would be so funny, you know?
Yeah. But with that being said, I think I kind of want to move on to talk about some more nitty gritty stuff in the sense that I just think generally right now,
it's kind of iffy, right?
Kind of. I feel like Treyarch is not giving zombies the attention that it needs drastically right now, and frankly that it deserves.
Yep.
I mean, they're obviously like no ifs, ands, or buts. They're full steam ahead on Blackout. And I understand it has a lot of players. There's a lot of people that love Blackout. But at the same time, I feel like
it's not generating money as much as zombies, I feel. Or even multiplayer for that matter.
I don't think zombies really generates that much money in terms of like microtransactions because that's what they're after.
Yeah, they're after microtransactions, but
because almost none of the microtransactions you can buy you can use in zombies. The only ones that you can buy that you can use in zombies, other than it's not HexxedPhenom in this game. What's it called? Nebulium plasma.
The most pointless thing ever. That's one of my peeves, I guess. I mean, I never liked the gobblegums, but the Nebulium plasma takes it to a whole new level. I just don't get it. I really don't.
But I mean, most zombies players, I would assume, other than like probably the big YouTubers, probably don't buy Nebulium plasma.
Yeah, it's just a money pit.
And on top of that, like the things you can buy in the black market shop, the only customization items you can use in zombies is camos and face paints, which face paints you can't even see on your character. So if you're an exclusively zombies player, there's literally no point for you to buy a face paint at all.
Yeah, there really isn't. It's just like the little tiny things that kind of add up to a big picture. And
so pretty much the only thing for zombies players to buy from the black market that's useful is a camo. And even then, it's a camo. It's a skin on your gun.
And honestly, you're probably not going to capitalize on the camos until you're Master Prestige, where you don't have to worry about keep on swapping your camos every time you Prestige.
Yeah.
Because that would get utterly annoying. And, yeah.
But
they could do more, for sure.
With Blackout, pretty much all the visual customization you get is there. You have the emotes, you have the sprays, the stickers, the gestures, all the different Blackout characters, these different skins and everything, these face paints, these jump packs, everything. So I'm sure it generates more money from a microtransaction standpoint.
Yep.
And I understand it's all a business, but at the same time, like,
you can't ignore what generates money.
You can't. I mean, first of all, you can't ignore. Yeah, exactly. Your fan base, and I mean, the game in general really is kind of lacking in terms of content. I mean, I know we were only promised what was in the Black Ops Pass.
Yep.
But I don't know. At the same time, we're pretty much 6 months after release, and we have one new zombies map, 4 new multiplayer maps, which all suck in my opinion, and we had 2 Blackout map updates.
And honestly, Blackout's cool, but I can't take it seriously. I thought it would be way cooler than it was.
I personally don't like it either, but granted, I don't like any battle royale games. I don't like PUBG. I don't like Fortnite. I don't like Blackout. I don't really like Apex.
I just wanted to try it because Call of Duty's more so serious than a more serious involvement than Fortnite.
The sad
which
thing for me
just
is like,
cartoons.
that I genuinely don't like it. Or it's sad that I genuinely don't like it because of how much of a Call of Duty fanboy I am. Because I've
Yeah,
bought every single Call of Duty since Modern Warfare
including
and
Infinite
played
Warfare.
it. Infinite Warfare, I got it. I played way more of it than I probably should have. Same thing with Advanced Warfare. Same thing with Ghosts. Same thing with. I mean, Black Ops 3 I bought pretty much exclusively on zombies. I mean, played a shit ton of
Yeah,
multiplayer,
yeah.
but
Zombies was the way to get that.
regardless, I
And
was going to
four,
buy that game for zombies.
and four I bought for zombies. I buy all these for zombies, by the way. I don't
Bought
give
Infinite
a
Warfare,
shit
bought
about
World War
multiplayer.
II. I
Yeah.
bought them all.
And like it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm good at multiplayer. It's just it doesn't really appease me anymore. It's just the same crap for the most part. And they tried to switch it up. The specialists I thought were absolutely childish, but they tried.
They tried to
They tried to make
capitalize
it,
on the Overwatch thing.
yeah, the Overwatch thing
it
was the
just
main
doesn't work.
reason, and now Fortnite is the
'Cause the-
reason for
the-
Battle Royale.
The thing with, I mean, we're getting off topic, but the thing with Specialist is, or with that whole situation of trying to make it similar to Overwatch,
Yeah,
is Overwatch was built from the ground up with that concept of being a hero shooter. You can't take an established formula like Call of Duty and turn it into a hero shooter because it just doesn't match up. The thing with a hero shooter is everybody has their same two abilities, or well, three in Overwatch's case,
yeah. I was gonna say,
and they slowly charge up over time. Everybody has completely different abilities, completely different equipment, completely different weapons, and that's it. And you when you pick a hero, you have their one or two weapons, you have their 2-3 abilities, and that's it.
well, now we have abilities in zombies, so I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, now you could pick the swords, you could do the death machine, you could do. I mean, I think that's
that's
mainly a World War
true,
II's
but-
input, but yeah, now we have those. I like the abilities in zombies.
But the thing with Call of Duty is you have this huge array of weapons. The only thing you're really
Yep.
changing is you're swapping out those two abilities
Yep,
for different ones.
essentially that's what they're doing.
So it's like a half-baked hero shooter attempt, but whatever. But with zombies, I think they really need to step up. I mean, granted,
There's a lot of room they can go with, and a lot of ground they could cover.
it's not like I'm just being like, "Oh, why don't you give us more maps that we don't pay for?" It's like, granted, I think we should get some sort of free compensation, considering the fact that Zombies was almost unplayable for the first month for most people. Blue screens all the time. I didn't have it nearly as bad as most people did, but I know.
You even got double XP out of it somehow.
Well, that was from the
was-
monster energy, whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was interesting.
But, yeah, most people couldn't play the game or play Zombie specifically for the first like month and a half until they finally started fixing all of the different crash bugs. And I don't know if you
Yeah.
keep up with the patch notes, but I always read all the patch notes for every patch that comes out.
I just see bugs and fixes.
And there would be so many like so many different stability fixes for zombies that they would list all of them out.
Oh, yeah. Did you go on the website to see them? Stuff like that.
I would usually just see them from Charlie Intel.
Oh, just from Charlie.
But-
I was just saying.
It would be things like fixed a crash error where that would happen when the player hits the mystery box while transitioning between round 3 and 4 and gets the teddy bear, and that would cause the game to crash. And just
That
stupidly
caused the game to
specific
crash.
stupidly
Jeez,
specific games like or stupidly specific things like that would cause the game to crash.
All
And
for a
there'd be
patch.
like 30 or 40 of them every single patch. And it'd be like Zombies was almost unplayable.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's kind of crazy the state that it shipped in. I mean, I didn't experience a lot of those problems. I don't even think I saw any of them, but there were some issues where frame rate would probably have issues and stuff. But
For me,
and
I definitely-
textures wouldn't pop, but
Especially on higher rounds, it happened to me quite a bit. Like where the game would do the blue screen and crash out, and I'd have to restart the game. It happened to me, I think, on like the day the game came out. I think I played a game of 9 on easy or casual, whatever it's called, just to get the sense of the map. It wasn't my first game of 9, but it was maybe like my second or third. I don't know. But I got to round like 80 something. I was just like, I'm gonna just keep going.
He was
and
like
then
fiending.
and then I just crashed out of the game on like round 86, and I was like, well, that sucks.
Did it save any of it?
It saved that was my highest round, and it saved like my XP earned and
Oh,
stuff.
at least it did that.
Still.
I feel like what they're gonna do with Make Good. I feel like Nuketown Zombies is the Make Good. I'm not expecting much from them. I really do think Nuketown Zombies Remastered will be the Make Good free map. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna happen because the QA tester that got fired predicted DLC 1 to a T, and he said they're working on it. It's gonna happen for DLC 2, so I'm assuming.
I hope so, but
I'm assuming it's gonna come out.
It's also not in that roadmap, so unless they're just gonna stealth drop it like on the same day as
probably the same day
the map or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's also things like at the reveal event for the game, they talked about factions and zombies, and we still don't even really know what it is.
Yeah, what the hell is factions and zombies?
But
that's what I'm really curious about. I heard the rumor, but then it died immediately as something was said, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Like, no, literally at the Black Ops 4 reveal, on stage, Jason Blundell came out and he was talking about features for zombies, and he talked about factions. And then in interviews, he said it was going to be ready for launch. And then we haven't heard anything about it.
Clearly, it hasn't been. It was not ready for launch. It definitely was not.
I think there was some interview at some point, like before the end of the year, where Jason Blundell said it'll be ready in early 2019. And we're almost out of early 2019, and we still know absolutely nothing about factions.
I'm assuming.
And it's not in that roadmap at all for the upcoming stuff for this event.
I'm assuming factions is going to be like if you, me, and Anthony got into a thing, we could like boost our like maybe it's more so serious like World League for multiplayer. Maybe factions is zombies. Maybe.
I'm not sure what it is. My theory is there was something similarly named in I think Mortal Kombat 10.
I just hope it's not pointless.
And it was basically when you start like when you go into a menu and you could pick which faction you want to align yourself with out of like 5 or 6 different factions that are like different things in the Mortal Kombat lore. And basically every hour you play just builds towards your like faction's like overall score.
Okay. So it's like Rivals and Rock Band essentially.
Kind of. And at the end of a certain time period, whichever faction had like the most time played or matches won or whatever the hell the objective was, then they would earn rewards like, you know, faction XP, coins, costumes, whatever. So it could be something similar to that, or it could be something as kind of, I would say, half-baked as the mission teams were in Infinite Warfare multiplayer, where there was like 5 or 6 different mission teams, and you would just load into a match. You could pick 3 different objectives of what you wanted to focus on during that match. And it'd be like, oh, get 5 kills with an assault rifle. One would be like, oh, capture 2 flags. Another one would be like, oh, get 3 assists or whatever. And if you hit those, then you would get like the bronze thing. And it'd be like, oh, and then in the game, it'd be like, oh, keep going for silver, get 10 kills with the assault rifle.
Okay, so
and it would keep going, and you would earn XP towards your mission team, and you would get like calling cards and stuff at certain levels, weapon variants, certain weapons, stuff like that.
I'd be into that if that's how it was. I definitely
something extra to work towards in zombies is definitely welcome to me, because at this point, really all there is to work towards. I mean, the gauntlets are a good start. Personally, I've never finished any of the gauntlets.
I honestly didn't really bat an eye to them. They're just cool. They exist. I guess.
Cool they exist.
You can play with your friends and rage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like your rager.
But
bad. But
I would just still like something else to work towards in zombies, because the daily objective is cool, but once you finish that, then
you're just like, oh, okay, I guess tomorrow I'll get to round 15. Yeah.
Back to the old grind, basically.
Essentially, and I don't know. I just think they just need to get back on the ball they were on in the earlier era that they kind of have lost. I don't know if that's Activision's fault for being like, you gotta do this, that, and this. We need you to push this out for then.
I honestly think it's Blackout.
Copy pasted
because I mean, before you could have. I mean, they have separate teams working on things, but I'm almost sure that
they shafted zombies probably.
probably pulling people off of the multiplayer and zombies teams to come work on Blackout because they want to get updates out faster, they want to get stuff done faster, they want to get things done better. But it's shafting
what people actually
zombies.
want.
I mean,
Yeah.
multiplayer, like I said, there's not really much more you can do with it. Like, yeah, you can have limited time modes, like they're bringing Infected. They had one in the chamber, but those are all things that were in Call of Duty for how long?
They should have just kept them in.
Yeah,
One in the chamber
I think
was
honestly,
great,
all those things should be in the game as just their own separate playlist. But at the same time, we've learned from Call of Duties in the past that having a list of like 40 game modes always just sitting there also does split the player base pretty bad, and it makes it really hard to find matches in some of the modes. But
honestly, what I'm hoping for is Grief, the comeback.
I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen it come back since Black Ops 2.
Yeah, like Grief was like the fun mode where, and it was funny because then you can glitch like 16 players into a match of Die Rise. That was hilarious to see, but it was just cool seeing team versus team and zombies to see who can handle the pressure. It was like the proving ground for zombies, and that went away out of nowhere.
I'm sure they never, or that they didn't see a return on it based on, I mean, obviously there was no money to be spent really, other than just buying the DLC maps at that point. But in terms of like player count, I'm sure they didn't really see a return on it, but it was still fun. Like
and like they tried Turn, and that was absolute garbage. There's just so many opportunities they could have taken with Black Ops 2 into Black Ops 3. They could have brought Grief. In Black Ops 2, they could have had Survival at the Diner. They could have had new areas that they were saying they were going to do. That was the whole point of the nav cards.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, they ditched the nav cards. And yeah, so I would like to see Grief come back. We had some fun memories on Grief.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Oh, man.
Me, you, Anthony... We used to demolish people on that.
Man, we would get like hated on so much, and I just didn't give a fuck. It was amazing. We would dominate teams left and right, and do you remember the one where that one guy was just absolutely trash talking us, and we won the game, and he was still trash talking? It was great. But I have some fond moments, and they were gonna do Richtofen's head as a, I don't know if it was like a grenade or an attachment, but they actually went through the game files and they constructed this 3D head how it would have looked.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that come back.
Yeah, Grief was a lot of fun. I remember one of my strategies for Grief was always to buy the Galvanuckles, because if you guys don't remember, if you haven't played Grief, one of the best things that you could do was the enemy players that were, just standing around, if you went up to them and knifed them, they would move like a couple feet backwards. And if you had the Galvanuckles, they would move like even further backwards. So my strategy was always, I would buy Galvanuckles, and then I would run up in wherever they were camping, because usually that's how it worked. You would usually camp.
You would usually camp certain parts of the map.
And so I would try to run up there and knife one of them off of the edge, because in town, it was usually, one team would usually camp in the top room of the bar, and the other team would camp in the top room of the library. And so I would always go in and try to punch one of them off into the lava.
Yeah.
To try to get them to go down.
You could even, I thought one of the most fun strategies in Grief was running a train and running it around the enemy team, because they did not know what in God's name to do. Unless they knew what they were doing, then they could shaft the train and run a circle somewhere else.
Oh yeah, or you could do
and that's how you knew who
the zombies would drop the rotten meat that you could throw.
Yep, and the rotten meat, and it was just funny dicking around with people, making them fall in the lava and die, and seeing their teammates try to resurrect them, and you're like just hoarding circles.
Yeah.
It was actually really competitive. It was really cool. I thought it had a lot of companionship in with your team, chemistry. You needed chemistry to win, and
it was so much fun.
If I would love to see them bring, like, the faction thing being like World League or whatever. I would love to see them do something for zombies that is like the World League, where you can face other teams in Grief.
So like an esport type of thing. That'd be awesome. An esport
for zombies in Grief. I think that would be cool to watch, cool to be in. You name it.
Yeah.
Be really cool.
It would be.
So what's the state of the pizza anyway? Out of curiosity, because I know we're at like.
Says that it's been in the oven for 39 minutes, so I think our pizza's a little bit burnt. So
Hasta fuego.
That's always good.
It's always good. I like my pizza burnt.
I like it real crisp.
Real
nice
crisp.
and crispy.
And then I get nice and salty. Yeah.
Let's open up the app and see if it refreshes at all. Oh, there we go. Ramon left the store at 6:27, so arguably they should be here.
Arguably, they should be here probably
Like
any
2
minute.
minutes ago.
So we should probably go and wait for the pizza man before they basically cock block us in a conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very true.
So we're going to go wait for the pizza, and then we'll be back. All right, the pizza's here, guys. JP, any
yes.
closing thoughts on the current state of Call of Duty Zombies?
Man, I hope it gets better, but it might get worse before it gets better. That's all I'm going to say. But I'll be playing it through the rise and the fall. I will be there.
It's very true. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we see things improve across all of Black Ops 4. I mean, it's definitely a good game, but I think it could be great if Treyarch, gets their priorities straight, and if hopefully Activision backs off with the egregious microtransactions.
Yep.
But with that being said, I mean,
really nothing left to say. Just have to see where it goes. I guess Ancient Evil. Well, we'll find out in the next week and a half, I'm sure, what's going to happen. The next step.
I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about our thoughts and impressions on that map once it hits and once we've played it a little bit. But I mean, other than that, guys, I don't really know. I pretty much just agree with you, JP, that I think it's gonna get better, but I think it'll get worse before that happens.
Yep.
Unfortunately. But we'll just have to wait and see. But with that being said, let us know what you guys think about Call of Duty Zombies down in the comments below. And with that being said, guys, this has been episode 4 of Pizza and Pixels, the gaming podcast where JP and I talk about games and order a pizza.
All in the making.
All at the same time. I messed it up, so I'm going to start over. This is the show where JP and I order a pizza and then talk about games so that pizza shows up. And you can get it at every other Saturday at noon Eastern on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom for a video version. And for an audio version, you could look at podcast services around the globe, things like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any podcast service of your choosing. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Pizza and Pixels. And until next time, another one bites the crust.